cannot see jack shit with these things on. Guess I can't use these as a fashion statement any other time during the year. Hey guys, it's Gretchen and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought, well, I actually got the idea after I did my piercing video where I talked about cleaning with salt solutions, and I realized I had never talked about my single helix before. Next to my nostril piercing, this one. I get my left and my rights wrong apparently. But next to my nostril piercing, my single helix piercing over here on my left ear was actually the first ear one that I got. I don't count my lobes because they were done so long ago. But I realized I had never actually done a video regarding my single helix. This piercing has been kind of a problem since I've had it. I got it April 16th, 2016, so I've had it for a year and a few months. And it's just been a pain since I've had it. I don't know why. Like my double helix over here, which will be in another video all its own. This one's never given me problems. It gets a little crusty from time to time because it's not even a year old yet. Whereas this one is well over a year old and it still gives me problems. Like I've done everything to it and it doesn't have like a bump or anything, but it wants to close up really fast. It gets really crusty, and not just like normal crusty, like ugh, crusty. So I thought I would just talk about my experience with this helix piercing, and yeah. To me, the helix piercing is, you know, one of the most basic, one of the simplest ear piercings next to your lobe, again. So I don't know. Everyone's different, so people may never have had problems with their helix before. And so it all just depends. But one thing I do want to say is that I did have a helix piercing previously. This was not the first helix piercing I had ever had. I actually had a helix piercing my senior year of high school. I got it, I believe, November of 2007, which was at the start of my senior year of high school. But because I was not educated with piercings and the like, I went to Claire's and got it pierced with a gun. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my hair today. I am so sorry. So that one was originally done on this ear though, where these two are. So again, I don't know why this one would give me a problem because it's not even like in the same area. But that one did get so infected, which should be a lesson to everyone. Do not get your cartilage done with a gun. It got so infected that when I went to take it out, I couldn't like actually get the stud out. And if you know Claire's, you know it's not like a twist ball type thing. It's an actual like stud that you would find in your lobe, and it's got that kind of back into it. I don't know what those are called, but that's what it was. And it actually took my dad taking pliers to it to get it out. It was that bad off. I mean, it was painful as hell to get it out, but it was also painful to keep it in, so it was kind of like just suck it up and go. But when I was a senior in high school, I was kind of a sissy, so I had my head like, you know, angled so that my dad could see it. It scared the shit out of me. But anyway, so like my dad literally had to take pliers to it to get it out, and it scarred. Like you can't see the scar now. I mean, you definitely can't see it now because of the double helix I have, but it finally did fade after several years. I kept the bump for at least 2 years. So yeah, don't get your cartilage done at Claire's with a gun. So for this one, not done with a gun, actually done at a piercing / tattoo shop. It didn't hurt, and so I think this was where I started to realize that I have a higher pain tolerance than the normal person. But because I wasn't used to ear piercings by that time, since the only thing I had done was my nose, it still hurt. But I'm not gonna say it was like the most painful thing. Once again, the most painful one that I've ever had done was my tragus, and that's just because my tragus is very small. I will say that in every single piercing video I do, just to reiterate it. For me, the most painful piercing I've ever gotten was my tragus, and the piercing itself didn't hurt, it was the threading of the jewelry. So anyway, I digress. I am like spastic today. I think it was that solar eclipse. Even though it was my first ear piercing, you know, it was the start to all of this. It did hurt a little bit, but it's because I didn't know what to expect. Now I know what to expect, so I always make a bigger deal out of piercings than they need to be. So the first time I ever changed the jewelry, it hurt really bad. I mean, it felt like I almost stretched the hole. I know I didn't. I know the piercer used a 16 gauge, and that's what it was pierced with. And I got 16 gauge jewelry and put it in there, but it literally, and I really hate using that word because people use it so loosely and not correctly, it literally felt like I stretched it. Like, it was awful. I also helped my mom change hers out, and she said the same thing. So I'm not sure what happened there. Like, none of our other piercings have had that kind of difficulty. We've gotten, you know, all of our cartilages. Actually, everything we've had pierced was 16 gauge, except for our nostrils, which are 18, and our conch, which was 14. So I honestly don't know why it felt like that, but it was bad. It was painful. Mine bled. Like, the initial piercing didn't bleed, but when I went to change the jewelry, it bled. Again, don't have any idea what was going on. To this day, it will sometimes bleed. Like, if I change it out, clean it without jewelry in there, and then put something else back in, it will have gotten enough time to have started to close up that when I shove something through, it's almost like I've punctured the skin again, and it'll bleed. So this thing has just been a pain in the butt. It may be one of those piercings, you know, you hear people talk about all the time about how they've retired a piercing. I was always like, why would you spend money just to do something like that? And now I get it, because that one may be the first one that I retire, but it's not gonna happen yet. I'm still gonna give it some time. You know, it may just be, for me, a more difficult one to heal. I don't know. My tragus was probably the easiest one to heal, which is funny considering I keep saying it was the most painful. Actually, that's a lie. My septum was the easiest. But anyway, we're focused on the single helix. I don't know. There's not much to say about that piercing. There wasn't any, like, you know, finagling of getting the needle in there and then getting the jewelry in there, because it's very straightforward. I mean, it's just, it's out there. It's right there on the surface. Nothing special to it. I don't change that jewelry out as often as I change like my conch or my double helix, just because it does get irritated easier. I mean, heck, my tragus is easier to change out, which I thought would not be the case. So yeah, it was the start to all my ear piercings. Not the start to piercings in general, that would be the darling nostril. Don't count the lobes again. But yeah, so not much to it. Helix piercing is kind of the staple piercing that everyone seems to get, even if you're not into piercings. I know several of my friends who do not have quite the plethora of piercings that I do. Most of them have the Helix piercing done, just because that is the one everyone seems to get. But of course, they all got theirs done at Claire's, and I can't chastise them. I clearly didn't know any better. So yeah, yeah, not really a long video, because there's not much to that Helix piercing. I have to hug a pillow now. I just really like this pillow. If you have any questions regarding my Helix piercing, not sure what kind of questions you'd have, but maybe you have a question about your own Helix piercing, leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to look at them. Again, I am no expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Also, everyone's body is different, so my Helix piercing may be a pain in the ass and yours may have been perfectly fine. Everyone's different. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Going down there, there's a little red button that says subscribe. And if you're not subscribed, I would really like to have you become a subscriber. That made sense, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Y'all wanna see my pillow that I'm hugging? Look at it. It looks like a skull, but it's just two cats in a window. Isn't it the coolest thing? So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, bye guys. How was I supposed to have seen anything with these today, despite the cloud coverage? Like, it's just dark. I could have just taken black construction paper and been well.